Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I'd be able to send videos like this to your inbox as soon as tomorrow morning. If you like this watch, you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Buy, trade, and sell luxury watches on thewatchbox.com. Now, there's no two ways about it. This is a monstrous watch, and in fact, this was the Jaeger-LeCoultre oversized sports watch of the heady 2000s, back when oversized was standard sized. This was JLC's choice to do battle with the likes of the Hublot Big Bang and later the King Power, as well as the Panerai Luminor in increasing sizes, and Audemars Piguet's ever-escalating Royal Oak offshores. The timepiece on my wrist is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Extreme World Chronograph Launch Edition, a 2005 special series of 200 pieces in titanium and platinum. This watch has a spectacular sunburst ruthenium dial that was exclusive to this particular model. Now, let me be clear. JLC built a big, boisterous, and endlessly iterated watch. Yes, there were a million versions of this, just as there were the Royal Oak Offshore, the Panerai Luminor, and the Hublot Big Bang. The difference is that JLC could have made an enormous case, crafted it in platinum, and called it a day, and it would have sold. Back then, it would have. Instead, they packed this 46.3mm case so full of features and thoughtful engineering that it's amazing the watch isn't over 50mm in diameter. Let's talk about fit and feel first, and then we'll get to all of those features. So yes, the diameter of this watch, without any of the crowns, is 46.3mm. On my 16cm circumference wrist, it barely fits. I would go so far as to say 16cm is probably the lower limit for wearing this watch with any kind of proportion or physical security. Though on the latter count, the watch may physically stay on a wrist as small as 15. I'm not sure how that's going to look because the lug-to-lug dimension of this watch is substantial. 54.8mm lug-to-lug means this watch really does wear like a 44mm Royal Oak Offshore, and that's saying something. 15.9mm thick, it's tall and sheer. It doesn't fit underneath any jacket cuff of any kind. The lug spacing is 22mm, and it's a standard 22mm. That's important because this watch has quick release lugs, and you can use any standard 22mm strap with spring bars in this watch. Let's talk a little bit now about the shape of the lugs, which, as you can see, are designed to work with your wrist as much as possible by tapering almost completely down 90 degrees from the horizontal sweep of the case. There's no constraint in the movement of the strap. You can pull it straight down around the tight turn of a smaller wrist, and the strap itself is incredibly substantial. This was Jaeger-LeCoultre's breakthrough double contrasting stitched sheer flank alligator leather. It is a very dark brown with large rectangular scales, a semi-gloss finish. The sheer sides create the impression of incredible mass, and the watch does live up to that. This is an incredibly substantial strap. Calfskin on the underside. What you can see to better effect on the underside is that quick release lug system, which uses a sort of trap door. You can see how the lugs themselves withdraw from under the strap, and what you're left with is a strap that's just like any other of this standard size. Unlike the Cartier Roadster, unlike the Hublot Big Bang Unicos, unlike the IWC Aquatimers or the new Vacheron Constantin Overseas, you can use any standard size strap and just pop it right back in once you're done. It's that simple. A quick release system that works with anybody's strap. The clasp brings a third kind of metal into play. If the case is a titanium inner case and a platinum outer case, the clasp, double folding, is in white gold. Now, this watch probably shipped at the tail end of 2005 because this clasp was new for 2006. Prior to that, it was a single fold platinum. After, it was a white gold double fold. This is actually better for a smaller wrist. You'll find that the curvature of the underside of this nicely matches the wrist in a fashion that the single fold doesn't quite. Plus, you get the handsome low profile of a conventional pin buckle when this one is buckled down. Okay, the case itself. I mentioned two separate canisters, and indeed this watch delivers. If you look at the case back, you'll see that the watch promises both platinum 950 and titanium, and the middle digit of the JLC case code 6 calls for a platinum watch. and you do get mostly platinum. The interior case, which is designed to resist shock, is made of titanium. So you can see the titanium outer facing of that case here and its opposite number on this side. This is the canister that is 100-meter water resistant and holds the movement and the dial. It's actually buffered from the external platinum case, all in high polish as you can see, with shock absorbers inside the case. So it's said that you can use this watch for golf or mountain biking. JLC was exceptionally ambitious about the physical handling limits prescribed to these compressor extremes. I have the world alarm, which is actually a world time with an alarm and the same case construction. I have used it for mountain biking, and so far so good. It's held up. That was an experiment I don't plan to repeat, but JLC was as good as their word. Now, the compressor crowns are special. 1/2 turn, and now you have 100-meter water resistance. 1/2 turn, and now you can easily manipulate the crown. Easy to use with wet, sweaty, or gloved hands. The chronograph pushers are even easier. 1/4 turn, and it's all color-coded. Red, you're dead, and white, you're tight. Let's get a little bit closer and give ourselves some more light because we're getting nice and close to this watch. Bring it into focus, give ourselves a bit more aperture. Now you can see the detailing of the case. Basically, aside from that small bevel transitioning from the tops of the lugs to the flanks, the case is big, blockish, and strident. Not a whole lot of subtlety externally, though there is a fair amount on the dial side. Let's talk a bit about this dial. It's a sunburst ruthenium center with a circular concentric metallic grain about the registers. Chronograph hours with a fixed index and a rotating disc. Chronograph minutes with a rotating baton-style index in red. Constant seconds via 2 semicircles, 1 red, 1 white. It's reminiscent of a diver down flag. And you have a crown at 10 o'clock that's used for changing your reference city for the world time function. Now you'll note that there is a shaded portion of the dial that represents nighttime, and it's underneath its own separate shaded sapphire. And then there's a lighter portion, a semicircle on the opposite side, that gives you the daytime hours. So you look at London, for example, and you can see how right now it's 25 past 5. Well, I can see if I move counterclockwise, sure enough, it is 25 past 5 o'clock on the dial. You simply look at the hour that is adjacent to your reference city. And of course, you can look at any of the cities on the anthracite-colored ruthenium chapter ring. It is itself metallic grained. Any reference city and an adjacent hour, you read minutes at center, and you can tell the time in all 24 time zones concurrently. So let me show you how this works in fast motion. This is how it works. You can see how the time of day moves clockwise and the 24-hour ring reads counterclockwise. So you always look at the hour that is counterclockwise relative to the city. That's how you actually read it. You just go counterclockwise. Oh, okay, 9. So I can see that it is 25 after 9 in London. And you can read the same across the globe. 24 principal time zones, 24 reference cities. Now, the timepiece does feature a chronograph on top, and it is a wonderful one. First of all, look, hacking or stop seconds, you have that function, and you have a vertical clutch and a column wheel array inside the watch. I'm going to turn this one flush to the camera. It's difficult to capture it with single-sided AR on the crystal. You can see how it's a vertical clutch. It starts smoothly. There's no jump or stagger. At the same time, you can just leave the chronograph running if you prefer, because the vertical clutch creates no additional wear and tear on the movement. Now I'm going to rotate through the date change and then demonstrate another feature. Oh, there we go. It's not the date change. I should have noted my reference city. We weren't into the nighttime. Now you can see that the watch also features a quick set date function. Inside the case, controlling all this apparatus, a column wheel vertical clutch chronograph caliber, 752, 41 joules, entirely manufactured, twin mainspring barrels, 65-hour power reserve, free sprung balance for toughness, master 1,000-hour control, a test of chronometry, power reserve, resistances, winding efficiency as a fully cased up watch, not as a bare movement, 28,800 vibrations per hour. Now you may also wonder, details concerning the movement, and of course, in addition to the vertical clutch, the column wheel, the twin mainspring barrels, the system is a unidirectional winder, which means it's very efficient, compounded by unlubricated ceramic rotor bearings, the two operating in tandem to create a timepiece that can be worn even in a sedentary lifestyle and still be counted on to wind itself reliably on a daily basis. This watch is simply jam-packed with features, and once again, 100 meters water resistant. It is absolutely an aquatic, full-featured sports watch. Throw it on any strap you like, you'll have many options. It looks good on any wrist, provided you've got the arm for it. Of all the variants, this is the one to own with the ruthenium dial and the platinum case. You can see it, you can make it yours on the watch box. And we're back with the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Extreme World Chronograph. As you can see, plenty of luminescence. It's in the dark that you understand this watch borrows from JLC's history by copying much of the imagery of the 1968 Polaris diving alarm about its font for the numerals as well as the size and shape of the indices. See this one by the light of day on the watch box.